Hi everyone, welcome back to day 2 of Adobe Design Live with XD. I'm Gayatri, and with me again on day 2 we have Julie. Welcome back, Julie.
Thank you.
Julie is a UX designer and she's also a creative resident for 2019 with Adobe. And we'll continue today designing our multi-surface experience that combats food waste using Adobe XD. Yesterday, for those of you who are joining us again or who are joining us today for the first time, we went through a little bit of Julie's process of how to do a little bit of design research, how to define your goals, and define what are the screens that she might design. And we got started off designing some of the wireframes to set up this application. We also talked to you a little bit about what we think are good design practices, how to record a little bit of your design research. And what are we going to be doing today, Julie?
Yeah, so today we'll jump back in and we'll go do a quick overview of what we did yesterday so that people who are new in the chat can come check it out. And yeah, we'll be going through and basically sprucing up those wireframes and adding in more elements and also doing more wireframes for the other parts of the experience. So we'll start again where we were at, which was the home screen.
Sounds good.
And then we'll go to the grocery list portion of it, as well as the viewing what's in your fridge. So that's what we'll do today.
Great. For those of you who are also tuning in for the first time, I am Gayatri. I am a UX designer on the Adobe XD team. I've been at Adobe for about a year and a half now. Julie, do you want to tell everybody how you got here?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know you.
Yeah, so I'm Julie. I'm one of this year's creative residents, and I'm focused on XD. So I'm a UX designer, and I'm actually based in Seattle, so not too far from here in San Francisco. Where's everyone from on the chat? Let us know.
Yeah, speaking of the chat, everybody on the chat, hi everyone. It's really nice to see all of you. Yuri, Voodoo, Marissa, Patricia, Sergio. Thanks so much for tuning in. For those of you who just tuned in from Andrea's Daily Creative Challenge, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We did a little bit of that stuff this morning. We're going to be continuing. Feel free to continue your daily challenge over here with us. And those of you, if you have any questions about design, about any thoughts that you have on even our work over here, feel free to keep chatting over here with us. In 30 minutes, we're going to be deciding who our winner is going to be for the chat and win, and the winner stands to get a $30 digital gift card from moo.com, which you can use to create your own business cards.
Love Moo.
Yeah, it's a great, I've personally used it, you've used it too, I believe, to create business cards. This is a great time to start kind of putting some money towards that. The $30 covers your cost for creating anything that you want to create on moo.com. For those of you who don't end up winning, don't fear. There's also a 15% off that you can get on moo.com if you use moo.com/Adobe Live to use towards any of your purchases on moo.com. Anyway, so keep chatting, ask us questions if you'd like. Before we continue, I'd also like to tell all of you the Daily Creative Challenge right before this was for creating a web experience for custom perfumes and colognes. We'd like for you all to leverage the power of components, reuse design elements, and allow users to be able to use different tap triggers in Adobe XD. Don't forget to post your designs on #current-challenge on the Discord challenge. For those of you who are still kind of working on it, you can find out more about the challenge on behance.net/challenge/XD. I have it up on my screen over here. So that's where it is. That's the first challenge for today. I highly encourage a lot of you who are on chat. I see Satanji from Bombay, India. Hi, it's late out there. Amina from yesterday joining us again. Thanks so much for joining us again. Go ahead and start participating in the Daily Creative Challenge. It's a great way to start engaging with the product. You can design along with us over here today, and we're happy to answer any questions we can in the chat. And without further ado, I think I'm gonna hand the reins over to Julie to pick back up where we left off yesterday.
Yeah. So this is just a quick thing we went over yesterday, but a little background about me. So I'm one of the creative residents, and if you don't know about the program, go to adobe.com/creative residency, and applications are open now. But it's a year-long program for early in career creatives to pursue a passion project. So that's what I'm doing. So this year I'm exploring how human-centered design can inspire a circular and sustainable food system. And so that's kind of inspirational for what we're going to be designing, or what we're going to finish designing today. So a little background, I went to Tufts University. I worked at IDEO for a little bit while I was at school. And then after graduation, I actually went to be a PM at Microsoft. And then after that, I was am now a creative resident at Adobe. So we went through that yesterday. This is just like a snippet of my work. You can find it on Behance. But this is a food sharing app that I just published just a few days ago. And so the idea here is that, you know, rather than throwing your food away, you're able to share it with whoever you're comfortable with. So like your neighbors, your coworkers, your friends. And it's inspired by, there's a big trend of food sharing in Europe, but there's also like a local gift economy here in the US called Buy Nothing that I got a lot of inspiration from for this prototype. So you can check out some of my work on Behance. So let's go back into what we're doing. So today and yesterday we'll be designing a digital pantry for a shared household. So 43% of food waste happens in the home of consumers. So that was the little background of what inspired what we're doing here. So the concept is a digital pantry experience designed to reduce food waste by maintaining a dynamic inventory of your food so that when you're on the go, you know, when you want to go grocery shopping and you don't know what you have, you can check it out. You'll also be able to see what you have, what's shared within your household, and so on. So this was a little bit of basically the building blocks of what a case study would look like. So let's jump back to where we were. So yesterday, we got to like a very basic wireframe of what the home experience of this application would be.
And remind me again, we're designing this for like to kind of go on top of the fridge itself,
exactly,
right? Okay.
Yeah. So if we jump back here, some inspiration are like these smart fridges that I actually haven't seen in real life. I don't know if anyone has one.
But it's kind of like, it's on its way here.
Yeah, it's on its way here. I've seen one recently that has a transparent screen. So that's something that I'd be interested in for displaying this prototype. But yeah, the idea is that this would be a tablet on the fridge, and then also there would be like a mobile experience tied to it so that when you are on the go, you can see what you have. So yesterday we were here and basically creating like a basic wireframe for what the home screen would look like. And what I had done previously was I wrote out basically everything that I'd want on each vertical of this. So from the inventory, the home screen, what your grocery list would require, expiration notifications, and so on. Oh, I see that Sergio ran into that mythical smart fridge.
Yeah, he sounds like he worked on a final school project as well. So Sergio, stick around, give us some ideas as we're kind of going along making this app. Tell us about your experiences. I believe a lot of this work is kind of like stemmed from your own interest in kind of this. And Julie and I have been talking about this on and off screen as well. And like, it's kind of it's weird how like a lot of the work that we do transforms our experiences in our lives as well. So like, is that how you got interested in it and you brought it into your creative residency?
Yeah, so I've been passionate about like food forever. And in college I got more interested in like food systems and sustainability, and it just was so baffling how much needs to be solved in that field. And so I feel like with the creative residency, when I applied, my big goal was to focus on how we can reduce food waste using design to create like a sustainable food system. So
absolutely,
yeah, that was kind of my background. But yeah, it was definitely driven from a personal passion, and then I saw an opportunity to intersect it with my career. So
sounds good.
Yeah. But it's awesome to see other people also making like food waste apps. It's like fun to see more people on it. So here we're looking at the home experience. So if we jump back up here, we see that on the home experience, we're looking to see where food is stored, who food is shared with, your grocery list, sneak peek of that inventory, expiration notifications, an activity feed. So like if my roommate decided to share something with me, I'll know that it's up for grabs, as well as a profile. So showing who is, accessing this smart fridge. Looking at the grocery list, that's a little more simple. So, who is this list shared with? Is it me? Is it with just my roommates? Who else? Adding people to the list, removing people from the list, and also adding items to the list and removing items from the list, and then a search. So those
I like that this app is like, you're thinking of it as like a way to kind of like be better and interact with the other members in the household, rather than it just being an app and it's like, reminder, don't throw away this food. Like, there's so much more to like kind of managing your experience with like sharing food, or even like to make it available to other people in it.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, rather than throwing something away, you just should share it with people.
A lot of apps kind of just like overwhelm you with in notification, and it's just like very one-sided. I like that this is kind of taking into account the fact that like people might use this even to kind of just plan ahead. Yeah,
and the goal with this too is for it to be totally in context, and that's why I wanted to have it on the fridge, because you go to the fridge because you're probably hungry, and so being able to see, right there what is expiring soon or going bad, and then giving you the option to either cook it, or if it's breakfast and you have salmon that's expiring, just share it with someone else.
And I love it. Like we talked about this yesterday, and I don't know if we'll be able to get to it today, but we want to have a supporting kind of mobile experience with this, which like if you're at the grocery store, you can't obviously have your like your fridge there with you, but you can have a snapshot
if
of
only.
it. Yeah.
If only.
But you technically can inside your phone, a digital version of it. Like lets you know what's still there and not.
Yeah. And we had talked about this yesterday too, but I imagine a future where, like we have all the data of what we're purchasing all the time. And then we'd be able to leverage that into this experience. So we'd have basically this like digitized inventory of what you have at all times. So that's something that I think will really help people understand what they have and what they need to buy and what they don't need to buy to help reduce that food waste at home.
Sounds good. Sergio, for sure, please share your case study with us.
Yeah.
You can, I think, for sure, post the link in the chat. We're happy to like have other people take a look at it.
Totally.
Maybe give us some ideas as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So yesterday, I had showed a brief mood board of what I'm thinking, and I like love this whole like retro kitchen vibe. So that's what I tried to mimic in here. And I actually found, so I went to Adobe Stock last night, and I found some really fun icons.
Illustrations.
Yeah,
awesome.
Illustrations. So for those of you who don't know, Adobe Stock is like, I've been so impressed with it. There's so many amazing illustrations available.
I actually have it up on my screen.
Perfect.
So we recently, with the new version of XD, launched a better libraries integration. So if you click on the left-hand side of the assets panel right here. Oh, before I talk about libraries, for those of you who might not know, now you can do co-editing inside of XD.
Yeah.
So I'm right here. I can see Julie in the stock. This document is owned by Julie. She invited me to it yesterday. So if you launch the Libraries tab over here, and you go into this little drop down and select Adobe Stock, you can, I guess I can put like vegetable icons in here.
Yeah, I think I did like food illustration. Something very simple.
So yeah, there's like a whole horde of like like photos, illustrations. I can filter them through here, and I can kind of grab that and bring some of that in over here as well. Or you can just go to Adobe Stock and kind of copy paste in, or like edit them in Illustrator and bring them in whenever you're ready.
Yeah. And these illustrations are great because you can just grab them from Illustrator and then take out whatever components you want. So that's how I created these like very simple
So I see that you have it up on your Illustrator in your
So
is that how you found it, and you took out some of the pieces that you wanted?
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome.
So I really liked the texture that's on these ones, but I obviously wanted them to be separate ingredients. So I just went in and I, deleted certain things, and then I took out the piece of salmon as one ingredient, and then I took out the orange as another. So I did this for a few different illustrations that were on Adobe Stock. And then what I did in XD was I added a shadow because I wanted the item to kind of stick out.
Also, like, it kind of creates, like, that feeling of being clickable or pressable. Or
Yeah, exactly. So that's super easy. You just have to make sure you get the bottom layer and then add that shadow. And then, you know, I wanted to make it seem a little, like, floating in that way. So I had, I think it's at a, like, 50 blur. If I can get the layer.
If you hold Command and then click in, it'll usually help you select it.
There we go. Yeah, so it's at a pretty high blur, and then I had it like a far down the y-axis as well.
Cool.
So yeah, so found these really fun illustrations, and then I also pulled in some, I had showed you that website yesterday where there's a lot of free illustrations of people called humans.
Okay.
So I pulled in those as like profile icons that we can use.
Yeah, and they like kind of match with your illustration
exactly.
style.
Yeah. So I feel like it well resembles the mood board that I had going.
Hi, Rahi. Someone joining us for the first time on XD Live.
Welcome.
Thanks so much. Tell us where you're from. We're out here streaming live from San Francisco, the Adobe offices. If you're joining us for the first time, for those of you who don't know what we're doing, we're spending today, we started yesterday, starting to design app experience with Julie over here. Julie is one of our creative residents at Adobe, and she's focused on UX design using Adobe XD, which is a UX design tool, one of her newer tools. And she's going to be like we started from scratch. We're kind of like on bare bones, starting off, figuring out what are like the pieces that we need, going through an extensive design research. If you guys are more interested in learning about what we did yesterday, you can find all the videos available. They're pre-recorded on Behance Alive Adobe. If you put that into Google, I'm sure you'll find it. But today we're continuing kind of the rest of the process of creating the rest of the screens. We're gonna go into a little bit of prototyping after we lay out the designs of the screen. And kind of like show you some tips and tricks that Julie uses a lot in her process. We're going to be also announcing pretty soon, in exactly 11 minutes, the winner of the Chat and Win. So those of you who are on chat, stay active, send us your comments and thoughts, and we'll randomly pick a winner to get a $30 gift card from moo.com, where you can go and kind of build out your custom business cards or use it for whatever else you would like to on moo.com. So hi to Cervantes, to Adrian, Rahi, Voodoo, of course. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Another thing that I did, so I really liked in my mood board this papaya that's here.
Oh, cool.
They actually didn't have an illustration on Adobe stock, but I went in and I created it pretty quickly. I just took the pen tool and then basically outlined that photo, added the colors, and then I stole a texture from the other illustration and threw it on there to make it match that
style. And you
style.
just did that inside of XD?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's something that you can do.
Yeah.
Is like create your own quick illustrations and then pull in.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So I'm just going in here and I'm making those expiration notifications. So you know how much time you have left for each of these products. So we have a papaya here. And then let's make this 1 day left. So another thing I was thinking for this is rather than having it say 1 day left, we could have it, you know, like you say T minus 2 days until a day.
Oh, right. Yeah, for sure.
Do people use like D minus 2? Like, you know, like, because
days left?
Yeah, right? Because then
I've heard T minus 2, but
yeah. Because I wonder, because it would be cool if you could have like things will expire, you know, maybe a month away. So if you had M minus 2, you know?
I see. I get it. Yeah.
So if anyone knows if that's something that we could use.
Or maybe it might just be something that it's like only shows you like notifications for things that are expiring within the week. And the rest is then kind of like game for you to be.
Yeah. Because this is what it would look like if it said D minus 1. Sure. So we'll see. But I'll leave it 1 day left for now, and we can play around with it.
It definitely feels a little bit more conversational and humanistic with the 1 day left for sure.
That's true. Yeah, it feels more human. Another thing I want to add in here are categories. So this is basically to make sure that the grocery list is, you're able to categorize it and then quickly shift between like fish or meat or produce. So I have little icons in here. I typically use the Noun project to get icons. I found that really helpful. I don't know if you guys have checked that out before, but it's definitely a great resource. So I'm just gonna throw this one in here.
Suma asks, can you please show how to use a component for hover click state? So we'll definitely get to that. Maybe we can try it with this one.
We can do it.
This little fishy over here.
Yeah, well, so the grocery list has a checklist that we could do for the.
Awesome.
That would be great for.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll jump into that. Okay, Jofian. D-2 can be confusing. Cool. Yeah, we'll stick with the 1 day left.
Yeah, Jofian says 3 days left are better in this case. Yeah, we kind of,
we
tend to agree.
Okay, so I also have a vegetable icon. Let's get that one in here. Get that aligned, make it a little
Richard,
bit.
I tend to agree. It is nice illustrations for the food. I don't know if you were tuned in a little bit earlier. Julie was telling us how she got the food icons from Adobe stock. And we kind of went over a better integration that we have now. You can see on the assets panel, like the little libraries icon right next to the plus icon where you can search for Adobe stock images right within XD itself. Right now, for those of you who've just joined us, we're kind of working out our home screen over here, kind of placing the different sections that might be on a home screen for, like, of course, giving you the information about what's going to expire in your food soon, in your fridge soon, up front, so that you kind of can plan your meals better.
So another thing with the type that I wanted to mention was there's this great website that I use called Typewolf. And what you can do is you can search for font pairing. So if I really like, I like this font a lot, Cuisine, but I want to find a font that's a sans serif that would go well with it. So I usually just do a quick Google search and find myself probably at Typewolf. And that's where I got this font pairing, which is the Source Sans Pro. So yeah, this is suggested font pairing here. So this is a great website that I use basically since I started designing a few years ago. And they have great things, especially for Adobe fonts as well. They have a list of top 40 favorite fonts on Adobe fonts that you can check out.
That definitely helps, like, taking the guesswork of like figuring out what fonts to use and where.
Tapping through them all.
Yeah, so if any of you are like doing the daily creative challenge while you're kind of tuned in with us over here, that's a great resource where you can kind of go and figure out some of like those things that you would just have like a quick expert's opinion on, kind of.
Someone who's done the work for you.
Yeah, pretty much. And you can go and post all your work in the current challenge page on Discord. There's a lot of like good conversation and feedback that goes on in the Discord channel. You can find out more about it on the Daily Creative channel page. We'll be going through all of your submissions in the last 30 minutes of today's stream. So make sure you go and post it on there. Julie and I will be sharing it online and talking about it as well.
So I want to have this text a little bit color-coded towards, how pressing it is that it's expiring. So I'm going to pull in this red here and then 3 days for this one, and then we'll do 3 days for this one as well. So this would go from like red to green, basically to like quickly see how pressing is it that I need to use this item. Okay. I'm just gonna group all of these guys.
So guys, we have like 4 minutes to go still to announce the Chat and Win winner. For those of you who are interested in making business cards and stuff, and even if you don't win the digital gift card, we announced earlier, I'll announce again for those of you who are tuned in, you can go to mood.com/Adobe Live to access 15% off of your order on mood.com. It's a great resource to be able to like make your own business cards. Julie and I were talking about this yesterday, and it's December time where like a lot of people are kind of going away on vacation.
Yeah.
And in January and February is when like a lot of people come back. So a lot of you, if you're like freelancing or looking for jobs or something like that, having a business card, I was gonna say having a gift card, but I mean having a gift card is really useful to make a business card on who.com.
Yeah.
And being able to like have a more professional kind of like appearance for interviewing season, which usually starts in like January and February. So kind of like set yourself up kind of for success with getting those business cards. So we're gonna be announcing that another 3 minutes for a random winner from the chat will be picked for that.
So get chatting over on here.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. For the type here, I think I want to just say expiration. Or expiring soon. What do you think about that versus use up by? I feel like that's more.
Yeah.
And then shared.
Sergio says font, wolf, and noun project are key to my design process.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing that, Sergio. I know all of us have a lot of like favorites. Kendra says, do you have any tips for applying for the creative residency program? Actually, Julie has an article about the creative residency that we can link you to shortly. There is also, like, you can Google Adobe Creative Residency and you can find out a lot about people's different experiences as well. Julie definitely has a Medium article as well.
Yeah. If you go to my Medium, just search my name and type Medium, you'll find an article that I just put out there. And actually, pretty much all of the residents have written something or made a video about the
application. I actually have it up on my screen over here.
There we go.
So, like, there you go. We have your answer for you. How to become a creative resident. Do you want to quickly like sum up a little bit of the tips?
Yeah. So the biggest thing, honestly, that I always tell everyone is like be true to yourself and what you're passionate about when you apply with a project. So think of, what gets you up in the morning and what is truly you and apply with that, even if you don't think it's something that necessarily fits. When I was applying, I was like, I don't know if food waste is going to fit with Adobe, but look where we are.
Yeah.
So I stayed true to who I was and what I love to do and what I'd love to focus on. So that's definitely like my biggest tip.
Wait,
and then,
can I give you one other clip?
Oh, thank you. And then being visual in your application. So they've given on the Creative Residency website application process, they've given some information and structure for how to make an application, but definitely just like focus on being visual. It's a creative residency. So we all are visual people. So expressing yourself that way is definitely another key tip.
The link's posted by Voodoo there. Thanks so much,
Yeah.
Voodoo. So yeah, like, I mean, we encourage a lot of you. You said the applications are open right now.
Yeah, it's open until January 15th. And just apply. Like, don't even think about it. Just do it. I almost didn't do it, and I would have totally regretted it. So definitely put in an application and go for it. It's always worth a shot.
All right, so we're beginning. We have come to our countdown of beginning to pick who might be the winner of our Chat and Win while the computer does its thinking. We, Samet, Kendra, Marissa, thank you so much for joining in. Richard, Kendra, we're gonna continue designing, but stick on with us. Let's see who might be the lucky winner shortly. Eric. Drum
Let's
roll.
See who it is.
Yeah. Hey, Diego. Hi, Lindsay. Isla. Welcome to the chat. We're tuning in to just find out who is going to be our chat and win winner for today. This person,
I love that.
the person who wins gets a $30 digital moo.com gift card. You can use this for whatever you'd like on moo.com, but it does not include shipping. You can also get a sample before you actually spend the money, and the sample is free from moo.com of the thing that you'd like to get printed. So just to get 4 or 5 samples just to see what it looks like and feels like in your hands.
Yeah. Moo, the quality is so nice. We had printed, me and Patricia, the other resident, printed research cards, and it was really nice quality. So,
all right, so Jofian, congratulations.
Ooh, we have a winner.
Thank you so much for participating and giving us all the feedback that you've been and engaging with us on the chat. You are the lucky winner of a $30 gift card. For those of you who didn't win, like I've been saying, go to moo.com/Adobe Live, and you can win you can apply 15% off on your order for anything that you'll be making. Congrats, Jofian, again.
Woohoo.
All right, so we're going back to designing our app.
Yes. Okay. So we have the expiring soon tab, and then shared. So what is shared with you, and then we have all. So you'd be able to quickly tab through what you have in your fridge. So when I was thinking about the grocery list and checking out, I have this little mood board piece of all the grocery lists. Everything is very vertical, so I was thinking of actually switching this to be on the right side and have it be a very vertical list. So I might go ahead and switch these over here to be scrolling down. And then luckily with responsive resize, we can quickly do that. Okay. So I'm actually gonna go and delete this out. Okay.
We have a few new people on chat still. Hector, Satanji, Yona, thank you. Jesse for joining us. For those of you just tuned in, we're continuing our work from yesterday of designing a food waste experience app to manage your food waste at home and even when you're grocery shopping and with your roommates. So we're designing the home page right now. We're inside Adobe XD. We're kind of moving on from wireframes.
Yeah, getting higher fidelity. So I just moved the tab out here so that we'll be able to prototype that side panel coming in once you click this menu bar over here. So that's what I just did over here. And then grocery list.
I see a lot of you have tuned in from yesterday. Thanks so much for joining us again. I hope a lot of you are participating in the Daily Creative Challenge that's going on right now. We're gonna be wrapping up and going through some of the submissions in exactly about a little less than an hour. We're going to be going through your challenges. Make sure you go and post them on Discord on Creative Challenge. You can find a lot of the details online. The link's been posted up in the chat as well. Come along, design with us. Jofian just found out that they won, so congratulations.
Yay! Oh yeah, I'd seen you jump in the chat before, so congrats on the Moo gift card.
Yeah.
You'll have to share a photo of your business cards or whatever you get from Moo.
Share it on Twitter.
Okay.
All right, so you're kind of putting in, I can see you're putting in the names of the participants of who are going to be interacting, kind of your roommates.
Exactly, yeah. So this is about who is in your shared household. So if it's a family, you'll have a family of icons. But otherwise, this is me and my 2 roommates.
Got it.
Which is funny because I actually do have 2 roommates in real life. One is a boy and one is a girl. So this works. Yeah, so I basically moved my profile icon into here. So actually, I guess this would be 4 roommates then. just because, I wanted to have it separate from the main home screen. And then I also want to have an alerts or notifications icon. So I'm going to grab that. Here we go. In here. And I added a little red bubble there just to indicate that there is activity.
Thanks for joining us, Mohammed. Also, where are all of you from? I know a lot of new people joined us. We're streaming live from the San Francisco Adobe offices, so let us know where you guys are tuned in from.
Yeah, I think we had seen some people in the US, some in India, so welcome, welcome.
What are the font styles that you've used in the subheadings? I think you use something called Cuisine.
I use something called Cuisine. It is kind of typewritery. Mm-hmm. If you have another suggestion, we totally can try that out. So I also have as the header here, I have Source Sans Pro. So that's another option that we can use. Originally I had the Cuisine for the wireframe, so I was just plugging that in there. What do you think of this new one?
Lindsay says she's from Missouri. Hi there. Thanks for tuning in again.
Okay. So, another thing I added in here was the ability to basically view what's in your fridge. So previously with some of these smart fridges, they have a transparent screen, which I think is really cool. And I also think it'd be great, if you can see what's expiring in your fridge, but actually see like a little, basically a preview of where it is in your fridge. That was when I was doing all my research. People often were saying like, my stuff is just buried and I don't know where in my fridge it is. And that's why I end up wasting it or it goes bad, is because I don't know where it is. I don't know what I have. So the goal here would be to try to combat that. So I took a photo and I added a background blur to it. So you're able to basically adjust like how, clear it is versus how unclear.
Awesome.
And also like the darkness and lightness. So that's something that when we get into prototyping of this, we can have basically the transparency change. So you can adjust and see like, now I know what's in my fridge and what's not, while also seeing these little bubbles. So that's what I have there.
Great.
Okay. And grocery list. So I want to have an ad. So I'm actually just going to reuse this close icon and I'm going to turn it into a plus.
And for those of you who are new to XD, Julie is using assets that are inside the assets panel on the left-hand side of the app. That's where you can kind of create something we call components, which are assets that you can reuse and use again. And you can decide to edit the master and all the changes will propagate. Perhaps, Julie, you can show them how, like if you maybe change the color, are in the process of creating this.
Yeah. So if you go to, let's do a fun one maybe. So when you want to change the colors, let's say, across all of your components, you just go to click whatever screen you're on, click that component and go to Edit Master. And then here,
it jumps you to your master on canvas.
Yeah, so I had already laid them out kind of by my case study stuff. So that's where all my master components of these illustrations exist.
And another thing I cool to notice over here is that you're making some really good high fidelity illustration changes within XD without having to leave it.
It's just a vector. So it's super easy to just, let's get a little crazy here. If we go blue, we'll be able to see that reflect over here. And that'll do it across all of the screens that I have this component. So I also can go, if I edit this to be, let's change it back to.
And that's an instance of that component. So you can change an individual instance. You can also undo any of these changes. We wanted to quickly, for those of you who haven't used components, just show you the power of components as well.
And you can also reset back to the master component. So
perfect.
That's also a fun thing. So I'll go leave that there. So grocery list. So this here, I was thinking about the mobile piece of this, and what I usually do for grocery lists is I either write it on a sheet of paper, or I will write it in my phone or in my notes tab or something. So I'd love for something to be able to be exported, from this tablet that's on your fridge. But from people that I interviewed, what they have in a shared household is on their fridge they have a whiteboard, and they just write down what they need.
You're thinking of making this interactive?
So
like with the tap pen?
That would be awesome.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, if you could write it down, that also gives you that good feeling of you're writing on a list. Yeah. So that would be cool. But for now, it would just be something that you click and then type
awesome.
And add in. So I'm just going to add to the grocery list here some items.
That actually might be better than scribbling on a grocery list, because I'm sure with roommates, you can't always understand everybody's handwriting. Actually, that's an interesting question to ask in chat as well. How many of you actually do handwritten notes versus do kind of Post-it notes or Evernotes in your, for your daily work, or even for tasks that you've decided that you need to kind of put in a to-do list? I kind of go 50-50. I go back and forth in either typing it out or writing it down. I sometimes find it hard even to read my own
I know. I have such bad handwriting sometimes.
I feel like I had good handwriting, but now my penmanship has reduced so much.
It's probably because we're typing so much.
Exactly.
We don't have to write. I even cursive, teaching cursive in schools. I feel like they don't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways. So someone previously had asked about components in the new states feature. So I'm going to show you that so you can see that if I wanted to create a quick checklist and then tap and untap, you can see what that looks like. So if I just go here and I make this a component, which should do it, since it's in a repeat grid, it should do it across all of it.
And you can make components multiple ways. So you can either right click and make it a component, or just hit Command K on your keyboard.
Yeah.
Or there's a little plus sign that's next to the components icon on the right-hand side in your PI.
Yeah. So if I go into that component and I look on the right side here, it'll show that it's the master component and also that there's this default state. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new state. And you can have it, you can have a hover state and a new state. This new state is going to be the checked. That's what I'm going to do. So now that I have that state selected, I'm going to throw in a icon.
Lindsay, I tend to do the same. I have a giant notepad sitting on my keyboard, but then I kind of miss my notepad when I'm at meetings and I have to remember to carry it. So I've resorted to using stickies on my computer to make my to-do lists. But then I miss my computer when I'm not near my computer, and I have a Nexus, so I haven't found the balance between my laptop and computer yet of keeping my notes with me. Jofian says, handwritten notes in my bullet journal. There's something definitely about handwritten notes that help your brain remember better, for sure.
There is, yeah. No, I find that even studying in school, I would write everything. Whenever I would study for a test, all I would do is write it down, and it helped a lot. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Munir's joining us too. Thanks again for joining us. You were here yesterday. Welcome back today. We're continuing making the app that we started yesterday. Julie's walking us through the process of creating a state inside a component.
Yeah, so I went and I quickly created a checked version of this. So if we go into the prototype mode and add a tap trigger, we can see that we can change this to be checked. So let's go check this out.
Awesome.
There we go.
And the beauty of having the states right there in your app is that you don't have to, in a previous version of XD, you would have to create multiple artboards to get this kind of interaction. But now you can do it all in just one artboard, and you're not limited by having a linear experience. Users or prototype testers can click on any button and create like a custom experience for themselves.
Yeah, so now we can quickly go tap and untap in here, just like so.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's go change this back to default.
Actually, one of the things that I should have asked everybody is that do you guys make grocery lists on your phone, or do you make it on a piece of paper? It's something that I've kind of like, either I've used Post-its or I've like kind of, used my little Siri device and like recorded it out on like a notepad on my phone while I'm walking somewhere, just to remind myself what I need to buy at the grocery store. What do you tend to do?
Me? I usually, I'll write a list like when I'm home. I try to keep like a set weekly staples list of things that I want to get. But whenever I'm out of something, I usually like either write it quickly on my phone or write it on a piece of paper, and then, or sometimes I'll put it on a Post-it note and stick it on my phone so that I don't forget to take it with me. That's another like little hack that I do. To list.
Awesome. So we just finished kind of like going over quickly like a little cheat sheet on how to create components. If you guys are interested in kind of diving deeper into components, make sure you guys tune in, Google some videos. There's plenty of help out there on YouTube. Our very own Howard Pinsky has some great tutorials as well. Or if you're following around the Daily Creative Challenge that's going on right now, we're going to be going through some of your submissions in about 42 minutes. But that's a great way to onboard yourself and kind of follow along while making the designs.
Okay, I need 2 more ingredients. So anyone in the chat, send us what your favorite ingredients are, and I'll throw them in here.
I have one. I think I like.
What is it?
Almost never cook without garlic.
That is so true. I feel like I love garlic. It's like my favorite. Okay. Anyone else? We need one more. Let us know and we'll throw it in there.
You can have salmon twice.
Salmon twice.
No. Maybe, I don't know, ginger. That's like, I feel like that's the second thing I probably use the most. Yeah. Also, what kind of cuisines do you guys like to cook? Tell us in the chat. I default am familiar with the Indian cuisine because I'm Indian, but Indian food takes forever to make.
I love making Indian food.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. It's like so flavorful.
Yeah, and I think like Indian food is healthier if you make it at home for sure too.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so I have a quick grocery list in here, and I can go and I can check and uncheck things.
Awesome. I love that like in between like when we started and now to be able to like kind of have a high fidelity app experience which you can kind of interact with is so fast. Being able to like just switch between design and prototype mode. Yeah, no, I mean, once you get, also like finding illustrations that match what you're looking for, I feel like that helps pull things all together. Sure. At a certain point. Oh, we got some Indian food lovers over here. Pedro says drive-through cuisines. There's definitely a special place in my heart for drive-through cuisine for sure.
What's your favorite drive-through though?
That's a good question. I think living in California. I mean, it's not really drive-through, but there are so many like food trucks for Mexican food, which is really great to like stop by and pick up something and kind of head off on your way.
Yeah, no, I love In-N-Out here. It's super good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, how could I forget In-N-Out?
Okay, I'm going to make this white. So I want to have this attached to this tab over here so that you know.
Is that a trigger to be able to bring in the notifications?
Correct.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm going to make this.
I love that you're able to like layer in a lot of the experience with just one artboard as well, and you're not you haven't had to like move to another.
Yeah,
artboard.
Keeping it all in one is definitely pretty key. Okay. So the other thing I want to do is I want to have basically this. So I added in this basically a slide pull.
Got it, yeah.
So you can switch screens to see what's actually in your fridge.
Got it.
So that's basically another key part of this experience, is to be able to see, okay, what do I actually have? I see what's expiring, I see what's shared with me, but then where is it in my fridge? Awesome. So I took this photo, I think for people who were here before, this is just a background blur on top of a photo of a fridge. I tried to find one that was pretty crowded and busy to really fit the shared household environment. So there is one that's a little busy here. So what I'm gonna do is start working on this. So I want to color.
I actually have never really used the background blur thing myself, but it looks so cool that I'm tempted to, like, now I'm thinking of ways to actually use it in my work.
I mean, it's fun because you can just literally go like that, and it's like a really cool effect. So, and this, I think, would mimic well what a transparent screen would actually look like, because you can quickly just, you know, change the blur to be able to zoom in or zoom out of what the fridge looks like. So I'm going to keep this around here.
I love how, like, the chat has now become a conversation about food. Like, that's exactly what my aim is always to have. Like, that's a great conversation.
I know.
So Munir says, Moroccan cuisine is so famous, but don't ask me because I can't cook. So does that mean that, Munir, you're tuning in from Morocco, or you're Moroccan? Or is that just your favorite cuisine? I love Moroccan cuisine. I've actually tried to make it a couple of times, but I think I cheat on some of the ingredients and I don't quite get the right flavor.
I actually don't think I've ever had Moroccan cuisine before. I need to try it.
Marla says, spices are always the things I can't remember if I have when I'm in the store. Now I have 4 jars of cumin. Well, good thing is cumin doesn't go bad pretty quickly, but
that's true.
For sure though, like, Drifian is right. Like, you'll probably find this app that we're making today super useful.
That is the hope. Okay, so I'm just going in and I'm color coding based on these ingredients. So previously we had like 1 day left, and then we have items that are 3 days left, and we'll change this one to be 5 days left just to add in some variability in here. So I'll change that to the green fill. Okay, so let's add in the...
So we have 36 minutes left while Julie is making that. We have 36 minutes left for all of you to post some of your designs from the Daily Creative Challenge onto the Discord channel. We'll be going through some of their work that you guys have been doing. Feel free to share work in progress as well. We're happy to kind of take a look. The goal really is for all of y'all to kind of get yourself familiar with components. Today the challenge is to design a custom perfume making app. Leverage the power of components, reuse them in your designs. If you guys need a little bit of help in like making components, feel free to ask us here. We did a little bit just now, and there are tutorials out there as well, which you can kind of like look at if you guys would like to find out more, but definitely post more questions over here if you have any.
Yeah, letsxd.com has a ton of really, really great tutorials, especially with the new features that are out there. And also I think Howard and Andrea Hawk had done a Back from Mac's Adobe Live recently, so that's where they went through and walked through all of those features in depth too.
For sure.
So check that out.
So Munir says he is Moroccan and living in Istanbul now.
Oh, nice. Wow. People all over.
For sure. Share some links of more. Do you have a favorite Moroccan dish? You should share that with us over here. And maybe Julie and I, no promises, will try to make it. Yeah, for those of you, Voodoo's absolutely right. We have 34 minutes until the challenge is over. Please enter, post your designs on the Discord channel. We'll post a link for you again to find out what the challenge is. We're really just asking you to kind of interact with XD, use the components feature in the app to create components and reuse them across your designs. It doesn't have to be a final design. We'll be going through them in exactly 34 minutes. All right. So I see you've made some really bold design decisions right now.
Yeah, so I love playing with color.
For sure.
Which you can see in a lot of my work, which is over
That's
here.
great. It's so refreshing. I mean, yes, there's place for like really clean, nice, neat design, but I think, like especially for something like food, you kind of need to have something.
To get a little
like,
more playful.
Like, yeah, for sure.
Definitely. But I really like this like pink color that we have over here. Let's make it a little prettier.
So is Richard planning to move somewhere? I think Richard, you're moving for In-N-Out Burger. I would do that too. I think maybe that was one of the reasons that I came to California, honestly.
I do not put it past you. Okay. So let's go in here and get...
You have a like nice repeat grid situation going on over there.
Yeah. Repeat grid's super helpful for like changing these all at once.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Make this white.
Also, do any of you, like, are you guys first time users of XD? Have you been using XD for a long time? So tell us about how long have you been using the app, or what are your favorite features in it if you've been using it for a while? All right. So it's looking pretty like fleshed out now.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go into the inventory. So that's this screen. So I have written here, which we went through yesterday, basically a few pieces of information that you want with these items. So the big thing upon first view is to know where kind of in the fridge are they, and then have that color code to be able to quickly see that everything in red is stuff that I need to use now. Yellow, I have a couple of days, and then green, I have a little more time. So other things with this is I want to have it so that when you click on this item, it will get bigger and you'll be able to see a little more details about these.
I like that it's like a little bit like not listy and like more scattered and more browsable for sure too.
Yeah.
Jasper, you've been using XD for about 3 weeks. That's amazing. I hope you're taking part in the creative challenge. That's a great way to kind of learn some of the new tools, and like each time you take the challenge, you're gonna be exposed to some new features within XD. I hope you continue doing that. For those of you who have been following the challenge, don't forget to post your designs on Discord under #currentchallenge. We'll be going through them in 30 minutes. Amina says their favorite feature is prototyping and the scroll ability to scroll on screens. That's great. I think that's one of the things that we might actually also be using in this app. Abdel Munim asks, hello, I have a question about Adobe. Can I make a full app with it? You can make a full app with it. You can wire all the screens with components and states. That's actually kind of like we've begun to, but I can see no reason why you can kind of continue.
Yeah, I'd be happy to show a quick, I can pull up my, the Behance project that I just posted so you can see the full app. Mm-hmm. Let's grab that in here. So I named it Trying It Again because I was playing around with prototyping and I got frustrated, so I was like, okay, new document, trying it again.
That's great, and I love the iterative that's the whole process of design, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's all about trial and error sometimes. So this is a full app, basically, development. So I have the home experience, but you can quickly see in prototype mode that I can swipe between.
Oh, sweet. So you're using a little bit of auto animate over there.
Exactly, yeah. And I also have, when you scroll up, it goes like that. But this whole app experience is within XD, so you can go through the full end-to-end. So that's just a quick preview.
And actually, their little mobile icon right next to the play icon in the app screen, you can plug in your phone or like download the Adobe app and you can play your apps even on the phone. So you can get pretty far with prototyping and making your app feel very real. It just depends on you how much you create the wirings and prototyping.
Exactly, yeah. I do that a lot whenever I'm in the prototype mode. I always have my phone out next to me, and then I'm playing around with the different interactions to make sure that it's usable and also really nice.
Yeah, and Sergio, I totally agree. Like being able to prototype fast and states and auto animate is kind of like you can't go back once you've used those features. It makes your work look so professional and move forward so fast. And I think that sometimes makes design the most powerful, to be able to iterate and like see the feedback come to life.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Munir, you're right. I think I was actually not part of the Adobe team when Adobe XD was still called Project Comet. So you've been using it a while. So you've seen us evolve over a long period of time.
I think that was back in like 2016?
Perhaps, right? Yeah. Not that long ago, but it feels like forever.
It's come a long way, which is really awesome to see.
Jofian says, the animation is beautiful, Julie. Thank you so much, Jofian. I think also the illustrations with the balance of the UI, I think it's looking great as well.
Okay. I'm going to make all of these components so that I can add that new state when I click on it.
Got it.
Okay, so let's make this a bit bigger.
And that's Julie creating more states. So she had created a component over there, and so you're kind of like creating a click state?
Yeah, so when you click it, I want it to get larger and then show more information about that item.
Got it. So now that Julie had created a click state, she's kind of editing the state to exactly what she'd like to make it look like. And one of the things that you can do over here is like, even if you've not decided like your copy, you can put in some lorem ipsum text in there.
Exactly. So I'm just gonna grab this. Okay.
Sweet. I'm actually 1 year old pro of XD, and this month last year is when I started using XD. Happy anniversary to you, Richard. I think like if you started using the app last year to versus what you're getting this year is a whole world of a difference. And if you've been kind of like keeping up with the updates, it's been kind of a slow progression, but it's been steady, and some of the stuff that we have on here is super exciting.
Okay.
So Munir, you're asking how you can get these food illustrations. I have it up while Julie's setting that up. I can show you on my screen over here. If you have the app up on the left-hand corner of the screen, you can. I'll get a new. I can go back into the so Julie shared this project with me earlier, but what we can do is create, while this project opens for me. Actually, we can show it to you back in your screen as well. So if you use the little libraries icon that is on the assets panel exactly, if you do click the drop down over there, right over here, that's where you can kind of look for some of the images on Adobe stock.
So like food illustration, I think is what I had searched. You also can just go to Adobe stock on the internet and then find those illustrations as well.
All right.
But yeah, that's a great.
Thanks for like showing that that quickly. So I hope that helped you, Munir. Also, when is Adobe Live streaming from Adobe Live website? If you go to the website, or even if you are tuned in right now, you can for sure go in and hit subscribe on the screen over there, and it'll keep you tuned in to all the different live episodes that we're doing here. And we don't just do this for XD, we do it for a lot of the other apps. In fact, right after this, we're going to be hosting yesterday was the first ever Illustrator Daily Challenge, which will be hosted right after our stream at 2 p.m. And you can find the challenge for that on Behance Challenge/Illustrator. And you should try and mess with that, like even improve your skills on Illustrator. I know I loved Illustrator when I first was like beginning to do graphic design, and I haven't used it in a long time.
Really?
Mainly because of like, I think XD, like you were saying, like some of the illustrations that you've been doing.
It's so quick.
That's all I really need to do. It gets my work done. I don't need to kind of like, I do still open Illustrator to like make high fidelity changes, but most of the time I can pretty much get by with the changes.
Okay, so in the activity feed, I want to have information about things that were just shared with me. So I'm going to go in here and add in text.
And I love that the changes are propagating through, and you can still make individual overrides on those components inside the repeat grid.
Exactly, yeah. Super helpful. Okay, so let's see. What should we share? What are the different illustrations I have? Let's do...
It's so mesmerizing to look at someone design and like go through their thought process.
Yeah, I know. That's why I love Adobe Live, because it's fun to see like the nitty-gritty of things, and also, you know, going from nothing to a wireframe and then bringing it up to full fidelity. Okay, so we have...
Also, Munir, to add to the conversation about Adobe stock, I believe if you have an Adobe account, there is a default number of free images that you can get.
I think you get 10 free Adobe stock images to license.
I hear that like they switch it out.
And some of these illustrations come in full packs, and since they're vector images, you can just grab whichever.
Yeah, and most of them you can kind of just like even get with a little watermark until you've actually made a decision to buy them and use them.
Exactly,
You can still place them in your designs and get an idea of what they actually look and feel like. Oh, so I'm one of your roommates. That's cool.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Congratulations. Okay, we're going to add in Paco as well. Let's see. Let's throw in... We'll do garlic.
All right. I think Munir says, I think I have Adobe Live citizenship now. That's great. Are you participating also in our Daily Creative Challenge? We are going to be looking at some of the work that's been shared over there in just a little bit. For those of you who have been participating, make sure you post your links up there on Discord.
So someone yesterday had asked, what is the most commonly wasted food item? So I actually went and looked that up because I was curious. And number one is bread, surprisingly enough.
Well, I guess like bread goes bad pretty quickly, but it's also a staple that like...
Yeah, it's such a key part of so many cuisines, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
There's actually a company that makes beer out of leftover bread.
Really?
It's called Toast Ale. Check it out. I think they're available in like the UK.
So I guess with that margin, like, is there like a certain level of like spoiled or like rottenness that is acceptable for bread?
Yeah, I think it's just stale bread. I don't think they use like moldy bread or anything. But I'm sure there are definitely standards with that. But then again, it's being like fermented, so
yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. Okay. So I want to also add the date in here. So I'm going to change this to the...
Awesome. So this is kind of like just like in perspective. So if you kind of come into this fridge, you would be able to kind of select your own profile, and it shows you information relative to you.
Correct, yeah.
Awesome.
So the idea here would be probably like rather than having a login, you just have Face ID or something that would recognize that you're approaching the fridge. And then it's almost like wake to start, like this. And so then it would log you in, and you'd be able to see, you know, what's expiring, what's not.
It would be fun to like also use like, I mean, for those of you who are like taking part in a daily creative challenge, it's fun to have like that like wake screen, like a default like timed interaction.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun too to create on something like this for sure. Justin says hi to Paco. Paco's over here behind the scenes helping us stay live.
Stay alive.
Stay alive on live and look coordinated. So thank you so much to Paco.
Thank you to the Adobe Live team.
Yep.
Okay.
And thanks for the reminder, Voodoo. Don't forget to check out, that's right, the challenge tab above the chat. It's a great way to learn about XD. Today we have a challenge for building a custom perfume experience. Even if you have one screen that you've created, we're happy to kind of take a look at it. Just mess around a little bit with components and tap triggers. There's a starter file that's also right there in the challenge tab. Make sure you just click on it and it's get started with that tab. Make sure you share it on the Discord channel, and we'll be taking a look at it in a little bit more than 15 minutes. You have the timer on the screen, and we'll give you a little bit of feedback, and you can tune back in tomorrow, and that's a great way to kind of like start building a project out in XD and have a new portfolio piece. I know a lot of us struggle, at least I did when I was starting out, coming up with designs or like ideas, or even having like kind of like a bounding box for my project, for sure. This is looking really pretty. So this is the kind of the checked screen that.
Yeah. So this is going to be the, like, once you click on an item. So if I was to click on this papaya, it would pop up, and I'd be able to see more details about that item in here. So. And the goal here would also be to have this behind this artboard so that you can basically drag this and be able to expose what's in your fridge. So I'm going to throw that in so we can see the prototype. So I'm just going to group all of this. And then I'm going to send this here.
Making some big moves over here.
I know, big moves we've got going. Okay.
I'm nervous for you, but I have full faith in you. This is looking pretty cool.
Okay.
Nice.
Not nervous anymore.
Oh, yeah. All right. So what do we have so far now?
So far, I just added the background. I added this screen basically to the background of my home screen so that I'd be able to prototype the screen sliding.
Awesome. Cool.
As you go. So that's what we're gonna try and do now.
Nice.
Bear with me. So,
this is really great because like for all of those of you who are tuned in, this kind of stuff it takes a minute to get there, but like none of us are experts. We're even when one of the designers is making it, we're kind of like, it's trial and error, and the process is never simple.
Exactly. Okay, so right now you can see that we got, quick little intro of what it should look like, which is it's going to be exposing like that. So
awesome.
Let's play in prototype mode now and see how it goes. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this artboard. And then what I'm going to want to do is...
Munir is asking, does a UX designer need to know how to do front-end coding? I would say no. Like, the simple answer is you don't need to know it, but it helps to speak the language, to understand how things are built behind the scenes, just to understand the basics of HTML, CSS. A little bit of JavaScript doesn't hurt to kind of interact with it. I know a lot of the kind of reverse of that is true for a lot of XD engineers. They use the product pretty heavily. They're very familiar what you can do with the product. They're also, even the rest of the XD team, which of non-designers, in fact, use the XD app to make their own presentations.
They built XD with XD, basically.
Yeah, we do. That's my life every day. I actually designed the app inside XD as well, and it's a great way to kind of like stay familiar and stay humble about what are the features that other users would also need and would want to have in the experience that would be ideal when you're using the app yourself.
Okay. Let's check this out and see how it goes. I'm just going to do a quick tap.
Sweet.
Okay, so that was quick, obviously.
Are you thinking of maybe like making it a drag?
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah. I just wanted to quickly test it. So
yeah, that's a great tip though, like to be able to. So you're in prototype mode. Your screen's like a little bit cut off on the top, but like Julie's in prototype mode inside XD. It's the second tab over, and you can see the little tab at the bottom of the screen over there, at the top of the screen over there. She's in the prototype mode right there. Yep.
And if I do that, you can see it. So yeah, I'm just in prototype mode, and then basically you need to make sure when you're in prototype mode that if you're using auto animate, all of those components and things need to be on both artboards in order for that animation to work and it not just like flash at you. So I had made sure to copy over and layer it properly so that auto animate would work in order to basically drag the screen over to expose what's in your fridge. So we'll go check this out. So prototype mode, I'm gonna add a little bit of easing on this. I like to just like sort through all of them and see what I like the best. So let's just start with ease in and out is usually my go-to. Let's see.
This is looking pretty cool.
All right, so the idea is getting there. I want to, I think, send a little bit of this stuff back. Okay. So especially with auto animate and prototype mode, it's a lot of trial and error. And so you'll see like when I had animated that, the items that are in the background, you know, they started to overlap with that white, I guess overlay you would call it.
For sure.
So I'm just gonna move those, and that's this invisible layer over here. I'm gonna move this over here and see how that feels. I think that's all of.
I love how like coordinated you are. You're like you're like a dance coordinator of this prototype. But do you guys like sometimes feel like an orchestra conductor when you're guys doing like a prototype? It looks pretty cool.
Okay,
so you have like,
so there are more things that I need to get out of here.
but like this is exactly the way most designers work too, right? You have to kind of like make it, take a look at what it looks like, go back and refine it to get the adjustment just right.
Exactly, yeah. It's all trial, but really fun. I enjoy this part a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Richard, rightly so. I agree with you. That's exactly my kind of feeling as well. You don't need to know front-end coding, but it doesn't hurt to know, but that'll not limit you from being a good designer. I also think like just being on the job and working with the rest of your team, you'll learn a lot about how products are built over time. So don't let that hold you back.
Okay. All right, so we have that there. The other thing I wanted to do, so I could continue like playing around with this to make sure that the animation is, you know, really smooth and clean. But the idea is there, so I feel good about that. And I want to go in and make the export part. So that's the grocery list coming from here and going to your mobile. So I had a quick little wireframe of what I would want that to look like. So that is right here. So with grocery lists, like we've talked about before, oftentimes you'll write it on a list or you'll write it in your phone. So I wanted to have here is to have it be exportable from a tablet on your fridge. So I added in this little export icon, which upon click will, send it to your phone. So I just want to show that prototype and edit that in here. So let's go ahead and grab.
I think you're in prototype mode.
Oh,
you want to be? Okay,
yep.
yeah. So I want to remind all those of you who are doing the Daily Creative Challenge with us still today, you have a little bit of time left. Make sure you look at the challenge tab right next to the chat over there, and there you'll find a link to the Discord chat space. I have it up on my screen right now. This is not only a great place for you to post your current challenges, it's a great place to kind of get feedback from an amazing design community, see some of the work that's been going on, and like you can post some of your questions. We have a lot of people, especially like Howard, other members of the Adobe XD kind of squad, who will help you get through any of the errors or like give you feedback. Or if one of my favorite things is the tips and tricks channel, a channel where you can learn a lot, kind of stay in touch with the community, and even like post if there is a project that you're interested in, post about that here, and kind of like ask any questions that you have. So this is a great resource for the community, and this is actually a community that is kind of self-running for XD, with all the members who are giving and sharing feedback. We'll be looking at the current challenge page in exactly 8 minutes.
8 minutes, wow.
I can see one of you already posted something out there. We're gonna take a look at some of the things that you've posted. We'll and then jump right back to some of the work that Julie is doing. But we're happy to take the rest of all of 30 minutes and like talk about this stuff. But make sure you go and post some of your stuff on there. All right, so back to you for the next 7 minutes.
Yeah. So I took that repeat grid that I had over in the tablet view, and I just brought it over to this mobile version. And since it's repeat grid, it's super easy to just quickly go and edit the top component piece of it, and then it'll adjust. So I made it.
And this is the mobile screen that's gonna kind of complement the app screen, like the fridge screen that you've designed earlier.
Exactly, yeah. So I have who this list is shared with here. So the 3 roommates, and then
Paco, you and I at this point.
Exactly. Oh yeah, that's true. I should change that, but in here. Okay. So I'm in here, and then also this is nice because the check still is there and not there.
Sweet. Oh, so you just like oh, that's kind of cool. So you took the component and like resized it.
Yeah, and I'll have to do that resize for both of those states. So that's just something to keep in mind if you end up changing the default state. So I just edited it to be
awesome.
Back in the right size. So let's see. Let's change this. Let's see. Give me another ingredient.
Oh, like
let's just do chicken.
Do it. Yeah. Simplest one.
And I like turmeric. Okay, we'll keep it there for now.
So is this like a default list that's created from the things that someone would buy?
So
normally?
This list is created based on, I mean, you would add things to the list like on this tablet screen on the fridge.
Yeah.
And then the idea, if things are expiring soon, another piece of this could be that, if something has expired, you can add it to a grocery list quickly. Or if we can get into like recommendations as well. So if you often buy salmon, it could just automatically add it to the list. So that could be like a feature that's in the settings part of this application. But yeah, right as of now, it'll be something that you create and add yourself.
Cool.
Okay, so we can add to the list.
That's, I think, one of the cool things about working on one canvas. You can transform your designs to different app canvases. Like, use transition from working on kind of like a custom sized device to a mobile screen pretty easily. And if you guys hit the Command A button, or even the second icon in the toolbar from the left, that's the artboard button, and it'll reveal default artboard sizes as well. So our countdown is coming pretty close for you guys to post your designs on Discord. Make sure you even post things that are work in progress. We're happy to take a look at it. Make sure you use your resources on the Daily Creative Challenge link to help you guys get started with. And we're really interested in seeing you guys use or reuse some of the component features that we have in our new version of XD.
Okay, so I have the mobile, and then I just want to finish up this tab over here.
Oh, cool! You're so
about
like
5 minutes.
Oh, you have. We can come back to it for sure
perfect.
too. So like, don't feel rushed at all.
So let's go ahead and bring this here.
So you're kind of creating the prototype to reveal the little menu icon.
Exactly. Yeah. So once I click, and I'm gonna edit the information. Actually, let me go back and make that a component so that once I create it, I can. I'm just gonna componentize this, and we'll call it the tab.
That's a nice little feature you have, like to be able to customize or name your assets as well.
I know. I want to meet a person who names all of their layers. I'm so curious.
Not me. You will
it's
get
so
to meet
hard.
that person.
I am a very organized person, but when it comes to naming layers, I just don't do it.
It's kind of like going into like, it's like the work gets in the way of work.
Yeah, you're excited about like the next part of the design that I feel like I don't. Sometimes I'll spend the time like in my trying it again file. I like went back and I
like the fact that you named it Trying It Again. That's like a very positive take on it. I'll just like name it very generically, like V2.
Yeah. No, I was like, this, it needs to reflect my mood.
That's a much more positive and humanistic way of like working for sure.
Okay, so I'm just gonna bring this over here. Okay.
I see. I like the debate going on in the chat as well about like coding and design. I think Justin posted, like if you can code and design, you should get paid both salaries. I agree, but I also think like it's like too much to expect of one person. I think those two things like people experts in those two fields should work in collaboration with each other. When the same person starts doing both, a lot of the fidelity on either side kind of gets lost.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree. But I think the foundation is really, really important. I took a few computer science classes back in school, and I found that really helpful just for understanding like what is really feasible. From a design perspective as well. So it is good to have a foundation, but I don't think it's necessary
for sure
to be. But yeah, being able to be focused on one aspect, which could be design or it could be coding, is really good.
We're coming down to the last minute almost of you guys being able to post your designs on the Discord channel. Make sure you guys post your work that's going on in the Daily Creative channel. If you guys didn't participate today, fear not. The Daily Creative Challenge is going to be happening, daily. There's going to be, I think it's going to go on until 13th of December. So even if you didn't participate today, there's going to be fresh challenges, kind of like in the same vein and the topics. It's really just meant for you to interact with XD, learn some of the new tools and features. You can follow along on the episodes right before us of the Daily Creative Challenge that start at 11:30 every day, to be able to follow along with Andrea to create some of these designs for the Daily Creative Challenge. We're kind of prototyping some of Julie's app over here.
Yes.
Adding some of like the other like bells and whistles to our designs.
So I added, I just quickly prototyped this so that it'll go.
Sweet.
And pop up. Oh, I have to edit the...
So is it like going back and then forward? Is there like a...
Yeah, so I can then prototype this back. So if I add another tab
So we're
animation.
down to the wire. We're going to be moving into the design feedback section.
Woohoo!
All right. I'm going to be looking at the current challenge page on the Discord chat over here. Like I told you guys, we have one submission thus far by H. Vandreas. Is that how you say your name? Thanks for making a submission, our very first submission for the December Daily Creative Challenge. So I have it up, open over here. You posted it on Behance. That looks great. It seems to me like you've used the kind of the... Oh, it's Heather. Thanks for posting this, Heather. All right. So I like that you've kind of stayed in the vein of what Julie and I've talked about yesterday, is like kind of explain what you've kind of set out to do. You've explained the project a little bit as well. So this is the first part of it. So you've created a reserve button over here. So let's play the video and see what we have over here.
I love those hover states.
Nicely done. Let me get full screen and see, maybe you can see it better. That's a pretty elegant use of like components and a hover. And I see that you have like a nice little hover state over there.
I love how when you hovered on the reserve, it like, you know, got a little bigger.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And I like the little experimentation you kind of have going on over here. So I'm playing it again. So you have the hover states on each of the buttons. And then you're unselecting it. And you're reserving it.
Nice.
All right, so you are using a component over here. All right, so instead of perfume, we're going to create things that could help us develop personal website. All right, that's fine. You can do, I'm sure you can like, each date is a component. That's cool. I wonder if you can, although, like make it one component and create different states with the numbers, because it will remember, the master component remains the same, and then each of the variations will...
Yeah, you could. So have like a different state for each number.
But it's up to you. Do what you're comfortable with. The idea is for you to just start messing around with some of this stuff. So it's really great to see some of your work. Let's go back and see. Last I checked, I didn't see more posts.
Oh, there's one.
See there's one again.
Cornelian.
All right, let's take a look at this. Do we have any other? Awesome. I love that there's like some feedback going on even within the group over there. I love that you posted a XD shared web link. That's a pretty epic image. So who's this posted by? Let me just take a quick look. Cornelian Block Today's Challenge, XD Creative Challenge, still work in progress. I'm so glad you shared some of your work in progress. So is there a hotspot? Okay. For those of you who don't know, on the link, this is a XD custom shared link. It actually may be something that we can show people how to share a link as well.
Definitely.
So when you can turn on these hotspots, which kind of gives your user an idea about how to interact with the prototype. Mm-hmm. So I hit that. Awesome. So that's like a little, ooh.
Oh, there's the hover states.
All right. So it's like a perfume app, but for like beard oils. Something seems like it.
Oh yeah.
Or am I just making that up? Oh, that's a neat hover state.
Yeah.
I could do that all day.
So is that, if you click that, does it go back?
I guess we could find out. No. Oh yeah, it does. It goes back to the menu screen. And then if I hit that plus button again, I guess this closes it as well.
Okay.
That's really good. Like, I mean, you've really like kind of, even just with those like 3 or 4 things, it looks and feels so
yeah.
well.
I would say you could even have the arrow that's up top replace that X there.
Oh,
and,
I see.
You know what I mean? And have it, because I really love that little, that little
it's like
animation.
2 triggers. Yeah, I get it for sure. And these are like some hover states that you've created. So the continue button over here that's hidden behind us, one of us right now, is over here. So I hit continue and takes us to, all right, so you're like kind of, I love that you've branded it like a beard oils kind of thing. It's a great little like personal touch. All right, so somebody maybe like picked earthy and you kind of turn it on.
Nice.
Sweet.
I love the consistent colors too. The orange.
Yeah. It's like very understated, but it's like super like great for the kind of like the target audience, I would imagine. So then you continue. I like that you've used very humanistic terms in the concept of this application as well. Like it starts from nose candy and then it goes with like you can tweak it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's great. Actually, I've been interacting with this app. I haven't even taken a look at like what the actual perfume is that I'm making. So the first thing that I made, selected was earthy. Okay. And then maybe earthy and
jasmine sounds good.
All right. So jasmine, you see a little bit of a preview. I love that you've kind of gone ahead and just focused on the interactions and let it just be some placeholder text. This is really what you want to be able to do and like move forward with your designs.
Yeah.
And unstuck yourself basically. All right, so this is the kind of like customizing the size. This is really well thought out. I'm really impressed. So maybe you can select any one of the sizes over there.
And customize it, which is nice.
Yeah.
You can name it.
And you can name it. Cool. All right, so that's like the kind of like the packaging that you get it in, and you can add to cart. All right, so
amazing.
That's pretty epic. Like that's pretty nicely done.
It's very like minimalist and really, really nice flow. So good job.
Yeah, that's super well done. Really impressed with your work there. All right, so should we make a comment over here?
Yeah.
That's one of the features also in XD. If you use the web commenting features, you can kind of place a comment over here. And this is kind of like the other side of XD, which we kind of like don't talk about as much. But here we are. You can post like related to one of the, wherever on the canvas you want to just like, this looks great. And I can submit a comment. And I'm signed in to my Adobe account, so when you come back next, you'll see the comment right next to it. All right, so let's see what else we have on the Discord channel. I agree. So I think Heather says, thanks. We can add a heart there as well. So we have those two thus far. But feel free to send us some more links, post it in chat as well. We're happy to take a look at some of your designs.
Yeah, we'll be on Discord, so we can help you out.
Yeah,
and give some feedback.
We're checking still. We have another, like, about 30 minutes, a little less than 30 minutes, 25 minutes, I guess, to hang out with you all to take a look at some of your designs. But in the meanwhile, we can jump back into the designs that Julie has over here. All right, so what do you think you want to do next with your app, Julie?
So we just finished creating this tab so that when it comes up and then I can tab back. There we are.
There we go.
I think you're still on it.
I'm still on it. Yeah, so if we like switch back to Julie's screen, we'll be able to, there we go, quickly be able to see some of the work that we're going to continue over here.
Okay. So let's jump back up to here. So we went through the grocery list, so we have that on the mobile now. The inventory, so we have the item, when it's expiring, when it was purchased, who it was shared with. So we also can add in filters here, as well as information on like how to store the item. So let's make a little filters icon really quick.
Sweet.
All right, so I usually do a rounded Actually,
thanks for tuning in, Justin. Also, Heather and Cornelian, Munir, Stone, Cervantes, thanks so much for hanging out on the chat. Let us know if there's any other features you'd like for us to go over in the next 20 minutes or so that we have on the chat with all of you. Make sure you, Cornelian for sure, and Heather, make sure you stay tuned in and like work on some of the daily creative challenges that are coming up for the rest of the week. The challenges are posted, I think, right before, sometime before we go live, I think around 11:30, or I think might be starting at 9. Don't quote me on it. But you can find the information online and like kind of get started. And by the end of all the exercises every day, you can spend an hour or two. You will have a nice little project to put on your portfolio. It's a great way to sharpen your skills and kind of work on something outside of your daily work and learn a different kind of like skill set.
Okay, so I just made a quick filters icon using the path tool.
And I see that you've probably converted it into like a component.
So I actually just took this component.
Oh, you made it like a different...
And I reused it, yeah. And I'm actually going to ungroup that so that it doesn't...
Yeah.
And then make it a new component so that now that I have a new filters icon. Okay,
Sweet.
and another thing that could be nice is to... We were talking before about this transparent screen, so to be able to see what's in your fridge. So maybe we can have something that taps through where you have opacity, I guess,
for sure.
What this is.
Yep.
So that
I'm so fascinated. I'm like I told you earlier, I've never really used the blur tool. I know it's been there, but
it's so fun.
in just
I
like
love
my
the
work,
tool.
I've never really had a chance to like meaningfully use it.
Yeah.
And I feel like, don't be surprised for those of you who work with me, there's a blur for no reason at all in my work in the upcoming weeks.
Okay, so I'm gonna, let's see, do we want it from, we can have it be a slider.
Uh-huh.
So you can drag it. Let's try that.
We have about like 10 minutes more, so
perfect.
We can kind of go crazy. We've covered quite a lot.
Let's go crazy.
Yeah. Kind of experiment. Okay. Like there's really no right or wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So we have, I'm making the foundation for what a slider could be.
Got it.
So we'll do, right now, let me check what blur we're at. We are at 20.
Got it. Okay. So is this supposed to like, trend the background?
Correct.
Like, transition?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you adjust the slider, it'll change, basically go through that. So I can make it, I can fully see what's in my fridge just from the tablet on the screen.
My fridge doesn't look like that. I wish it would.
I know. I know. I tried to find an image of like a very messy fridge, but
that would be fun to watch though.
Exactly. That's true. Okay, so I'm going to throw this color in here. All right, so we're at about 20%, so I'm going to put this here.
We're talking about a pretty high-tech glass over here.
Yeah, actually Adobe at Adobe Max, they had a demo of a transparent screen. So
really,
the technology is there.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So yeah, it's pretty neat stuff.
I love that the community is following each other on Behance for sure, guys. Definitely do that. You can find some of my older work. I haven't like posted any new work on Behance, but I'm definitely on it. So is Julie. Make sure you give each other feedback, follow each other's work. This XD Live is really to just kind of like help the community and people connect with each other and talk a little bit more about design in the world.
Okay, so I just went ahead and I grouped these together so I can go and quickly bring it to 100% or back down to 0.
Sweet.
So we're at 20. So, okay. Okay, that still works.
All right.
Make this a little smaller.
Welcome to the chat, Susanna. I hadn't seen you earlier. Are you a designer as well? Where are you tuning in from? Thank you for being back, Eric, again. I remember you from yesterday. Thanks for following us again. Did you participate in the Daily Creative Challenge? If we still have a little bit of time, you can squeeze in another feedback or like take a look at some of your work for sure. If you guys have any work that you'd like to share online with us. So far, we've seen some really cool stuff by Heather. If you guys are on chat, you can go to the challenges tab and switch over to the Discord channel to see some of the work that Heather posted and then Cornelian posted on Discord. Can I import what I export? Was that what? Can you import what you export? Yes, you can, I think.
So if you export something onto like your desktop or something, you can pull it back in. Is that what you mean?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, but like that, at that point, it'll come back not as a vector. Mm-hmm. It'll come back as GIF or a PNG or something. There's definitely a way on XD to be able to export things for sure. Well, I'm sorry you haven't been able to do any of the daily creative challenges, Eric. I'm still glad you were able to tune in to the Adobe Live, at least to keep in touch with what's new on XD. I hope you've had a chance to like work with some of the components and states features for sure. So Julie, you're finishing up this slider for opacity.
So we could get fun and do a mask on this number so that when you adjust the slider, it'll
change the numbers
as well. But we'll see if we have some time. But right now I'm just going to test out doing it.
Sure.
Let's bring this guy up here. And I'm just going to copy over this artboard. And so what I could have done also is I could have made this background a component and then had a new state of the opacity.
That's one way to do it for sure too.
Yeah, but since I already have this animated, I'm just gonna do auto animate from the artboards for now. Okay, so right now I'm at 20, and then I want to change this to be 100.
Awesome.
Or actually, let's go to 0.
So Susanna tells us she's a web designer and she would love to work on apps. So you've been catching some of the XD streams. I'm so glad that you're able to join us from Nashville. I have like this false feeling like there are so many musicians from Nashville. So like are most people who live there musically bent?
Inclined.
Yes, exactly. Are you, Susanna?
I do live in Seattle and love coffee, so you know
there's something about it. I live in San Francisco, but I think I like hiking. I don't love hiking, but I don't know if that's a San Francisco thing. I wonder what is it like. I love brunch. I feel like
that is very San Francisco.
Yeah, San Franciscans do love a good brunch.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so the animation is not.
So you're testing and trying things out, which is exactly what we kind of like would love for you guys to see, like a little bit of behind the scenes on Adobe Live for sure, of like the process of getting these things in. For those of you who are still tuned in live with us and on the chat, I highly encourage some of you to like stick around if you're interested on to look at the Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge that's going to be happening right after this. It's like absolutely brand spanking new kind of like new thing that we're trying, and a lot of us I know are OG like Illustrator users, but there are so many new little tips and tricks that you can probably gain from watching the Daily Creative Challenge and ask some of the questions that you might have. I know that I was a heavy Illustrator user. Even I think like my top app that I used in Adobe, of course before XD, was Illustrator, and then InDesign. I was never much of a Photoshop user. Were you?
Yeah, Photoshop. I mean, so I actually use Photoshop a lot now to put like mockups that I have in iPhone templates, just for like Behance projects and so on. So, but other than that, I'm not a huge Photoshop user.
Awesome.
Okay.
Raul is joining us from the Caribbean. This does look so complicated sometimes, but we started this project really yesterday, so this is like 2 days work of 2 hours of work. So, I mean, we've just built this project along slowly and steadily. If you want to catch some more of it, like, feel free to like see a recorded version of where we started off yesterday. We started from scratch. Julie went through a lot of her design thinking with wireframes, and we've kind of just built it all. Actually, this might be a good time with like about like 10 minutes or a little bit more than 10 minutes about for us to like go over what we've had.
Yeah, we definitely can. Let me push this to the side. Okay, so just to quickly show what I just did here. So I just added a tap, but you can also make it a drag. But that's just a preview of what that could look like with that drag. But with the last, few minutes, we can go over kind of everything.
Everything that we've done,
to start off, we were designing yesterday a digital pantry for a shared household. So that's what we went and we did the last 2 days of streaming. So a brief background on the concept. It's a digital pantry experience designed to reduce food waste at home. So the idea around this is that it maintains a dynamic inventory of what you have. You also can put things up for grabs in your household. So if something's expiring soon, you can do that. There's also a grocery list.
I know a lot of you have joined us, like Raul, Chris, welcome, Susanna, who just joined us. For those of you who don't know, I'm a designer on XD. Julie is a creative resident at Adobe, focused on UX and UI design. And this is really Julie's passion project to kind of focus on food waste, and like she's designing an app and walking us through some of the work.
Yeah. So I'm just giving some context. So the goal of this is to be able to, wherever you are, whenever you're, at home or on the go, you can see what you have at all times, so that you don't buy duplicate things, or if something's expiring, you can share it with your roommates. So that was the background of this. And we went ahead and we looked at research. So yesterday I had opened up my Airtable, which is basically where I house all of my research. So verbatims from users that I talk to, or research from the field. And I brought in some key insights and quotes here. So I basically built the foundation of what a case study could look like.
Yeah, and like this is like also to emphasize XD can be used to kind of lay out your groundwork, and even having it kind of ready over there for you to be able to present and talk to show your decision-making process to your stakeholders or anybody you're collaborating with, because having it written out on a page is great. Another thing that Julie did was kind of invite me into the documents. If you look at the right-hand corner of the screen over there, I'm in the document as well. I'm just being a spectator, but
she can come and erase everything if you want.
I wouldn't do that. But
I know.
But that's a new feature in XD where you can kind of like, I could be working on some of the presentation bits, and Julie could be working on the prototyping bits of the project for sure.
So co-editing has been huge. Me and fellow resident Patricia, who's in Germany, we can jump on the same doc together, and I can get feedback from her and she can get feedback from me. So it's really, really amazing feature that you guys should check out. We went through pain points and key features of the app. I also had some sketches of just like basic rough wireframes. But the key features is what I usually use and write out, like what are all the components of that vertical of the experience. So what about for the home and for item details, the inventory, the grocery list, and so on. Then I did some basic visual design stuff. So what typography I'm going to use. I also found, we hadn't reset this yet, back to green. I went and I got some really fun food illustrations from Adobe Stock, and then some profile icons as well. And I had found those based on, I had created a mood board about the retro kitchen vibe that I was looking for. And then we went ahead and I had designed the home screen. So this is what it looks like currently. So we have what's expiring soon. So you'd be able to see that salmon, you have 1 day left. It'll feed 2 people. It's within like the fish category, and then there's leeks and papaya and so on.
And then I loved how you like kind of like transition from the wireframes into this over here. Also, you made some like really cool prototype. You want to quickly show us the prototype?
Yeah. So we have the menu bar here, which will pop out when you click it.
I love this transition. It looks so cool.
Yeah, and so I still have to fill out this information, but I can quickly tab in, tab out. And then we also will have the grocery list. When you click this, it'll pop up and export it to mobile as well.
Sweet.
So yeah, we have...
And you created some interactions with the selection as well. That's a great use of like components and states as well.
Yeah, and I can also add a hover here, darken it so that you could see what you're going to be checking.
Yeah, perfect. I want to quickly say thank you to everybody who's been hanging out with us on chat. Thank you so much. We are really just wrapping up some of our work here today. Yeah. Thank you so much, Julie.
This was a blast. It was great to meet you all. Thank you, everyone, wherever you tuned in from around the world.
We're coming really to an end of our episode today. We are both on Twitter and Behad, so feel free to reach out to any of us. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon again.
Thank you.
Thank you.